Grab your glass, lean in close. We laugh, we dig, we chase the ghost. Welcome to Tinfoil and Tequila, where the wild ideas hit the floor. We crack the joke, then crack the code, and pour a little truth, then pour some more. If the story sounds too strange, that's when we turn up the flame. Tinfoil and tequila, tinfoil and tequila, where happy hour meets the rabbit hole. Tinfoil and tequila, tinfoil and tequila, come on in, let the chaos roll. No suit, no script, no boring line, just big laughs and a twist of line. Tinfoil and tequila. Where happy hour meets the rabbit hole.
All right. Good evening, everybody. This is Larry, and welcome to Tinfoil and Tequila. Tonight's topic, as I just mentioned, was going to be MKUltra and mind control tonight. So what if I told you that there was a conspiracy theory, all right, that was so outrageous that if you mentioned it in the 1960s, that people would call you crazy. Yet decades later, the government admitted that it happened. Secret experiments, unwitting test subjects, LSD, hypnosis, behavioral modification, and thousands of destroyed records. Tonight, we're going to be diving into MKUltra, one of the most disturbing intelligence programs ever exposed. And also tonight, I've got special guest Jennifer McGee with us tonight. Jennifer, are you with us?
I am, Larry. Glad to be
Hey,
here.
awesome. Everybody give Jennifer a round of applause tonight. Thank you. Thanks so much for being here tonight, Jennifer. We greatly appreciate it. And, we hope to have a great show here talking about MKUltra and mind control tonight. So anyways, we're going to, what's that?
I was just clearing my throat.
Oh, no problem. You're entitled to do that. That's perfectly fine. All right. So welcome to Tinfoil and Tequila. I'm Larry, and we've got Jennifer here, as we said. Grab your favorite drink, settle in, because tonight we're discussing one of the few conspiracy theories that have crossed the line from speculation into documented history. This is MKUltra. We're going to question everything.
Amen.
All right. So what is MKUltra, you might ask? All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. So MKUltra was a covert CIA research program that officially launched in 1953 under the direction of CIA chemist Sidney Gottlieb, if I pronounced that name properly. It says the objective was to explore methods of influencing, controlling, manipulating, or extracting information from human subjects. According to surviving documents, let me try that again, and later congressional investigations, the program experimented with LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, drugs, psychological conditioning, and other behavioral modification techniques. So you're probably asking, why did they start it, right? The Cold War. All right. American intelligence officials feared the Soviet Union, China, and North Korea were developing brainwashing techniques. So after the Korean War, reports surfaced that American POWs, which is prisoner of wars, had been psychologically manipulated. CIA officials became obsessed with a question: can the human mind be controlled? That fear helped justify decades of secret experimentation. And that was, there's a document from the Senate's Intelligence Committee about that. So, what we know for certain is that the CIA has publicly acknowledged that MKUltra existed, that it also
Mhm.
operated from 1953 into the early 1970s, that human experiments occurred, LSD was heavily utilized, many subjects were not informed that they were being tested on, and the records were destroyed in 1973. These are not allegations anymore. These are documented facts and are actually on the CIA's website as well. So, yeah. So, what do you think about all that, Jennifer? Isn't that crazy?
Well, the more I dig into all of this, I feel like it was something that was going on then, but I feel like it's still happening now. Like
Yeah.
there's still the government is still experimenting every day
Oh, yeah.
with mind control, especially with our children
Mm-hmm. I
through
totally,
social media, all of the things.
yep. I believe there's still MK Ultra being done to this day. And another thing is that a lot of people believe that a lot of our musicians and our actors and actresses and stuff are under a
Under
form
yes, they're
of
under in
MK
MK
Ultra.
Ultra and
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I mean, they're almost like robotic to me.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
all say the same things, they all move the same way. I mean, it's mind-blowing, really. But
Yep.
the one person that comes to mind to me is Frank Olson. Did you already mention him?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay. So he was the army scientist, right? Who and no, he didn't even know that he was given the LSD, and then he, I guess, supposedly committed suicide by, I guess, jumping or falling out of the hotel window. And I just, I think about that, like I think that he knew things and that he was going to talk and all the things. Um,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
yeah.
it's happening. It's
Yeah.
been happening.
There's a
It's not
little.
just new. I think most of us went down the rabbit holes in 2020, but they've been there.
Oh yeah, yeah. This stuff's been around for a long time, and it's just not until recently, in the last what probably 6 years or so, 5 to 6 years, that
Mhm.
a lot of us have really gone out and done a lot of digging into a lot of this stuff, especially in 2020 when we all had time to sit down and kind of be at home and get online and do a bunch of research, during the lockdowns.
Mhm.
But a lot of this stuff, over the last 5 or 6 years, we've been kind of exposing a lot of stuff, not just this, but also through different kinds of, I guess, so-called conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call them. I call them the truth of what's actually happened, and the truth is just being uncovered. It's been covered up for so long, but
Absolutely.
you had mentioned Frank Olson, okay, and there's a little write up here about Frank Olson about his death. This is from a Wikipedia article here, but it says several known deaths have been associated with the project MK Ultra. Most notably, that was Frank Olson that you had mentioned. By
Mhm.
1951, Olson was a United States Army biochemist and a biological weapons researcher. And in 1951,
Mhm.
academic sources attributed the 1951 Pont Saint Esprit mass poisoning incident to ergo poisoning through a local bakery, which appeared to be plausible because ergo naturally contains lysergic acid, the chemical precursor to LSD. So in
Mhm.
1953, a few days before his death, Frank Olson quit his position as acting chief of the Special Operations Division at Dietrich, Maryland, later, which was Fort Detrick. It says because of severe moral crisis concerning the nature of his biological weapons research. Among Olson's concerns were the development of assassination materials used by the CIA's use of biological warfare materials in covert operations, experimentation with biological weapons in populated areas, collaboration with former Nazi scientists under Operation Paperclip, that's a whole nother discussion, Operation Paperclip, the LSD mind control research and the use of psychoactive drugs during terminal interrogations under a program codenamed Project Artichoke. And it says in 1953, Olson was given LSD without his knowledge or consent as part of a CIA experiment and died from falling from a 13th-story window a week later, as you had mentioned. It says a CIA doctor assigned to monitor Olson claimed to have been asleep in another bed in a New York City hotel room when Olson fell to his death. In 1953, Olson's death was described as a suicide that had occurred during a severe psychotic episode. It says the CIA's own internal investigation concluded that the head of MKUltra, CIA chemist Sidney Gottlieb, had conducted the LSD experiment with Olson prior knowledge, although neither Olson nor the other men taking part in the experiment were informed as to the exact nature of the drug until some 20 minutes after its ingestion. It says the report further suggested that Gottlieb was nonetheless due to a reprimand as he had failed to take into account Olson's already diagnosed suicidal tendencies, which might have been exacerbated by the LSD. It says in 1975, Olson's family received a $750,000 settlement from the U.S. government and formal apologies from President Gerald Ford and CIA Director William Colby, though their apologies were limited to informed consent issues concerning Olson's ingestion of LSD. So yeah, there's more about that article if you guys want to check it out on Wikipedia. Just look up MKUltra on Wikipedia, and you guys can read all about that on there. There's all kinds of
It's
stuff.
really not hard. It's not hard to go down these rabbit holes because,
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's so much out there. Even like Charles Manson was probably like part of their experiment as well. And I mean, just it's insane when you dig into it. It's absolutely crazy. But I truly think that even today, people are being used. It's almost like we're living in a Truman Show every single day.
Hey,
For me,
you hit the nail on the head with that one. That's so true. And just this one topic that we're on tonight. Okay, if you go to the Wikipedia article, just this one topic of MKUltra refers you to other things, refers you to the Watergate scandal. Okay, it also refers you to Operation Paperclip. It refers you to Project Artichoke.
and the Bluebird,
Project Bluebird. Yeah. And there's just so much stuff that happens with just this one thing. I mean, we could probably have months worth of shows just talking about MKUltra. Tonight we're just barely scraping the surface, about this and just kind of putting it out there because it's something like the show that we do here is to give people an idea of all of the things that are out there, of all the different rabbit holes that you can go down, so to speak. Okay. These are all public knowledge. So it's not something that we found through some secret back room somewhere. This is stuff that's public knowledge. You just got to do your research and look into it. So we're just here to bring it to the forefront, to put it in front of you and to say, hey, this exists. Why don't you guys look into this a little bit more? So just like the old saying is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Right. So
you can drown them though.
yeah, exactly. You can drown them. just push their head down in the water, just waterboarding, it's a whole nother topic, but waterboarding, what now? But yeah, so, we're just, we just want to try to get this information out, whether people want to hear it or not, that's neither here or there. But the show here, we wanted to bring things to light and help educate the general public about these different topics and things that we've all learned about over the years, and use our knowledge and expertise and our platform here to share that, with the public. So we're trying to do, the best we can, and, we're here to have Tinfoil and Tequila as our platform and turn this into conspiracy theories or the truth, whatever you want to call it, and comedy, and have a little fun doing it, right?
I feel like conspiracy theories, like I'm all out of conspiracy theories. I mean, everything that I have was called a conspiracy theorist over has
Mm-hmm.
been proven true.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh yeah.
so, I mean, if you think
Yep.
about it, like Noah was the first conspiracy theorist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he
Yep.
knew it was going to rain. Um, and no one believed him until it rained. And like, people can choose to stick their heads in the sand or whatever and not pay attention, but I I actually am full blown. I will even go as far as saying that I believe that part of the MK Ultra program, whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, is also uh, comes down to vaccines as well, especially
Mm-hmm.
with our children.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that there's some sort of connection there, because now we have more kids who have autism and ADHD and things that, as I was a child growing up, didn't really hear about. Um,
Y-
but I think that it's so much deeper than any of us really truly know.
and you're
And will
absolutely
we
right.
ever know? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, yeah, I think we are, and I think we're really on to something, Jennifer. Because I mean, when if a lot of the stuff that's been going on in the news recently, that President Trump had appointed RFK Jr. to be our health expert, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
RFK Jr. is going through. I mean, he is combing through the FDA with like a fine tooth comb, and he's going through all this stuff that the FDA has approved. And of course, this can be another discussion for another time. But it's just
right,
this we're in this rabbit hole, so we're going to keep going. So,
right.
but he's going through the through the FDA, and he's coming through it with a fine tooth comb. And what he's finding is that the FDA has approved all of this stuff that is so bad for us, and all
Mhm,
these like food dyes. Okay, he's getting rid of all the
mhm,
food dyes, and he's saying, hey, you get rid of all these coloring agents that are in your food and your drinks and stuff. And he says because they're harmful to our people, and if you can't get rid of them, we're going to shut you down. So I know Gatorade has already started making the transition. They posted an article online saying that they're getting away from all of these harmful food dyes, and that they're going to be using fruits and vegetables for their food
mhm,
dyes now. So hey, that's a win
mhm,
for Gatorade. So that's good. But one of the biggest things was that a lot of people love orange soda. Okay, like Sunkissed orange
mhm,
and all
mhm.
that. So Sunkissed
That's
orange.
all I craved when I was pregnant with my second child.
Oh my
I
goodness.
never liked it before, and then I wanted that every time
Oh
I got
wow.
a drink.
So get this, the Sunkissed orange soda, it had what was called brominated vegetable oil in it. Have you ever heard of
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I have actually.
Yeah, also called BVO. Basically, this was it was a food additive, and it was made from modifying vegetable oil with bromine that makes it dense enough to stay suspended in water, preventing flavor oils from separating in there. And so
Mhm,
they've just in the last few years here they banned that. It was in Sundrop soda and a lot of other citrus kind of sodas and orange soda. So
mhm,
they have removed that from a lot of the orange sodas and stuff. And I'm not sure about Sundrop. Last I checked, like about a month or so ago, Sundrop still had it in there. So I
mhm,
think they're kind of filtering those out, from the shelves as they can get to them. But that has been officially banned, and that is not allowed
mhm,
anymore. That is bad, bad stuff right there. But yeah,
mhm,
so I mean, I think we're on the path to fixing things. It's just that these things are so deep, and there's so much of this garbage in our food and drink supply that it's going to take a while to phase it out.
And
And
even in the medications too, like,
oh yeah, yeah,
you
exactly.
know, people on all of these. I recently had, I, I had to sort through my elderly parents' medication, and I was like, oh my
Hmm.
goodness, this is crazy. And then, you know, if you go down, I mean, a totally different, but I think it's all related to mind control at the end of the
Hmm.
day. Um,
Absolutely.
the rabbit hole of pharma and all, I mean, you know, pharma actually means witchcraft in Latin.
Yeah,
So,
pharmakia. Hmm.
um, it's just it's insane. But now you got to think about people are living longer.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm really trying to connect those two things, but like my doctor wants to put me on a statin. Absolutely not. Like
No.
I don't take pharmaceuticals,
Mm-mm.
but you know, I have what I take B12 shots, so I have to go and get checked out for that. And I'm like, no, because that's connected to dementia, right? Like
Hmm. Yeah.
long-term effects of that, you know, our brains crave cholesterol, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole in itself. But I feel like all of it is connected to the mind control. Like they're no longer probably using LSD. People aren't going to fall for that. But what will we fall for? You know, like they're gonna control us
Hmm.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Oh yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah. And those of us that are awake of, to be able to see it, we're the ones that are standing up against it, but we're being silenced when we try to do that. You know, we're being told
Hmm.
that, oh, you're an idiot, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, and you're this, you're that, whatever, being called all kinds of names. And I'm like, you can call me whatever you want, but I'm standing
They don't
firm.
call us wrong though. I
Exactly.
never get called
Exactly.
wrong.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you can call me any name in the book, but I
Uh-huh.
have not heard one time you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And and I've tried to go through, and I've tried to educate my family and some close friends on it. And of course, I get laughed at, and and being told that I'm an idiot, and like I need mental help, and all kinds of stuff. And I'm sure that all of us that have tried to do that have all been there and heard the same from our family and our friends and stuff. And to me, it doesn't bother me, because I'm one of those people. I can take that negative energy, turn it right around into positive energy, and send it right back out, and they don't like that one bit. you know so
No, they hate that. They hate
uh-huh.
they're just looking for like a reaction or whatever, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I don't need that. I don't need validation for what I believe in my heart through
Mm-hmm.
discernment. We were just talking about that earlier.
Yep.
Um, is true to me.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't, you can think about me all you want, but I,
Absolutely. Yeah,
so
so I want
yeah.
to go over through some more facts here about the
Okay.
MK Ultra and mind control here. So we're going to go ahead and transition into our rapid fire segment here. We're about halfway through the show here tonight. So rapid fire fact one is that there were over 80 institutions that were involved in MK Ultra. They were universities, they were hospitals,
Hmm.
research centers,
Hmm.
prisons, and many participants allegedly didn't even know that the CIA was funding the research behind this. Now, there were also thousands of records that were destroyed in 1973. The the then CIA director Richard Helms ordered MK Ultra files to be destroyed. This was fueled this has fueled decades of speculation, because nobody knows exactly what was lost. We don't know what was in those files. But what we do know is that 20,000 pages survived by accident. They were
Right. I was going to
actually,
say, but there was 20,000 that survived.
uh-huh, yes, yeah. See,
That's
hey, you've done your research, Jennifer.
for a long time, Larry, for a long time, I've
Uh-huh,
been down
yes.
these things.
But yeah, there was 20,000 pages that survived by accident. and they were stored in the wrong location and later discovered using a Freedom of Information Act search, okay, which is also
And
known as a
that was
FOIA
God.
search. Mm-hmm.
You can't convince me otherwise. That God was like, what's done in darkness will always come to light.
That's right. That's right.
Period.
Amen. Well said. Yep. That's exactly right. Now, without those records, much of MKUltra might have never been uncovered, and we may never even know about it to this day, and,
Mhm.
because those documents were found and they were brought forward. Now, Congress did investigate it. The 1977 Senate hearings forced the CIA officials to testify publicly about the program, and you can read about that in there's a article in the Senate Intelligence Committee website on there. But
You can also go to the declassified net,
mhm,
and you can find so much information there, y'all.
yes,
Like, it's crazy, and you can Google that.
yeah, and I'm going to
It's
also
there.
put some links. I've got a few links I'm going to post on our Facebook page as well. On there, I'm going to throw them in the comments for tonight's show on Facebook. And then I'm also going to go ahead and put them in the description on Rumble on there, so you guys can click on that over there. And I'll try to also throw them in on Twitch. So regardless of wherever you guys are listening at, you guys should have access to those links on there. And as far as our website goes, guys, I am sorry. I am still working on our website. It's a work in progress. I've been so busy with other things and just been trying to work on it
Wow.
a little bit at a time. But yeah, so that's a work in progress. So if you go there, there's a little bit on there right now, just kind of like a home page with a little bit of information and some links to our social media pages. But yeah, we're that's coming soon. Coming soon. I can't tell you how soon though.
And everyone is so against like Chat GPT and data centers and all that, but I mean, that's coming no matter what. You can find so much information just by you can type in whatever subject and they will give you links to different things.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not just Chat GPT too, but there's also Grok out there as well, and there's like Microsoft
Yeah.
Copilot. So there's
Yeah.
different AIs, but they're all gonna give you some good resources and stuff as well. But a lot of those, I call them mainstream things. They try to filter out a lot of the really good documents. So you
Some
really,
of them do, but then if you
yeah.
dig deeper, like if you actually like dig deeper, you can
Hmm.
find what you're looking for.
Yeah, no.
I'm not tech savvy, but I've learned how to navigate research,
Oh
if
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. You gotten real good at the research, huh?
mhm. Yeah, I have. Don't ask me to like connect this to that, like as far as what you did with getting this program going, but yeah, I can show you how to research if if you need help with that.
That's right. That's right. Show you that you're going to lead the horse to water, but it's up to them to drink, right?
Yeah, I'll drown them
Uh-huh.
with
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. And another thing too is, a while ago we were talking about how this MK Ultra topic just leads into all these other rabbit holes, right? Like we talked about,
Mhm.
Project Artichoke and Project Bluebird and all that, Operation Paperclip. And then I was like, okay, let me click on Operation Paperclip. Let me go over there and look. And I click on Operation Paperclip, and Operation Paperclip then leads me to Operation Overcast. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And
Mhm.
it leads me to Operation Osa Via Kim, whatever that is. And it just starts leading me down all these other rabbit holes. And that's the thing, you get involved in all this stuff, and it's just like one thing links to another that links to another. Then there's Operation Barbasoa, it looks like. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
like it just goes on and on and on. And you click on that one and that operation, and you start reading about it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, well, it links to like three more. and it's like, oh my gosh, they're all connected, and you're lead
They
and
are, and you lose sleep,
I
like, because
know.
you just can't stop. You can't
Yeah.
you just can't stop, because at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, I used to think that we were like experiments for before I became a believer. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
believer, like I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and God created the world. But before that, I used to think we must be an experiments for some higher power, right? But
Right.
truly, I feel like we're an experiment for our government. Once you get down all of these just insane boxes that you're just like, wow, like we are an experiment, but not by our creator. I don't believe that anymore. I believe that
Yeah.
the government uses us
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right.
truly.
Yep, that's absolutely right. And and that kind of um leads me into what we were a little talking about a little bit before the show about the GATE program, and how a lot of us as kids growing up in the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s were a part of the GATE program, which was called Gifted and Talented, and some people might know it as TAG as well.
Mhm.
So the TAG and
Mhm.
the GATE program were the same. They were just called different names, different schools or whatever. But I remember going through it in elementary school, and I remember being summoned to the front office, and you meet with a person. They introduce themselves as like a doctor or something, and then you go into a room, a private room with them, and it's just like a small little like conference room, a little table, like a little folding table, and a couple chairs in there, and they set up this briefcase, and it has like this like audio equipment in it with all these little control knobs and tape player and all kinds of stuff in it, and they put you on these headphones on you and make you listen to this audio tape, and they're like, oh, you're just doing a hearing test, and but it was more than a hearing test, it was
Uh-huh.
then you had the flashcards,
Yep.
and there was different flashcards with different symbols in them, and they make you do like little memory games and stuff with the flashcards, and then there was also the pink drink that a lot of people remember as well, and a lot of people said that that was fluoride that they make you drink in there to. But of course, you do your research into
We
fluoride.
didn't drink it, we chewed it.
Oh, you chewed yours? Oh, yeah. Ours
Yeah,
was
I
like a
chewed mine.
little pink drink. They put
It
just a
was
little
pink
bit.
and it tasted terrible,
Yeah, yeah. This
but
was
we had to chew it up, and supposedly
like
yeah.
chalky, like
Well,
a.
fluoride is a whole different rabbit hole, Larry.
It is. It is.
That's a
Yes.
whole different rabbit hole. We have no fluoride in my house, just
Uh huh.
FYI.
Yeah, that is a definitely for a discussion for another night. Is talking all about fluoride and how fluoride's a neurotoxin and all that. So yeah, that's
It makes holes in your brain, and
mm-hmm. Yep,
yeah, yeah.
and it
And actually,
calcifies your.
it does the opposite of what people want, which is over time, it actually that's why people. I think that honestly, I think dentists like invented it so that they could get more money,
Oh yeah,
because it creates dental issues,
it
because it
does. It does. Yeah,
it eats holes. So yeah,
yeah. I think it does.
hydrogen peroxide, babies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, that's the natural way of cleaning your teeth good, and plus it
Hmm.
whitens your
Coconut
teeth, and
oil. Hmm.
yep, coconut oil. Yep, you got it. See, you're already on it, Jennifer. You already know what's going on, right?
I do, man. I told you, like, this is my game. This is
Uh-huh.
right up my alley, because everybody in my world, including my husband, thinks I'm batshit crazy every day. But whatever.
Right. Yep. I know that's exactly what I'm being called crazy when I'm like, hey, let's go to a coconut oil and peppermint toothpaste, and my wife's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, no, we need fluoride. I'm like, no, we don't. Like, do your
No,
research.
we don't.
Well, that's
Mm-mm.
what the dentist suggests. I'm like, hello, the dentist is being paid by a big pharma. Hello. Like,
Exactly. And they're at the end of the day, they're all about making money. And honestly, I don't even think that they even realize. I think there's so many people that they've just bought into the lies that they don't realize that they're harming people in the long run. They just don't see it.
yeah, yep, exactly. And every time I, go to the dentist with my kids, they're like, "Hey, hold on, we got to do a fluoride treatment." I said, "I don't think so. You're not putting that crap
No,
in my
I have
kids'
to
teeth."
sign the little thing that they don't get it.
Yep. Yeah, I told them, I said, put it on
Like,
their
you're
charts that.
refusing? Yes, I'm refusing. We're
Mm-hmm.
not doing that. My kids' brains are not going to be having holes in them.
Yep.
Not today.
Exactly. Nope. Nope. Yeah, if you drop them on their head, that's a whole nother thing. But
That's,
they're not.
yeah,
It's not going to
right.
happen from
But
fluoride.
no, they're not. And honestly, my kids are pretty smart. My kids don't have like ADHD problems. I don't have,
That's
we
good.
did have some neurodiversions with my middle son, but he was vaccine injured, and that's a whole different story. And I did all of the things. He's perfectly normal now,
Oh, well,
you
that's
know.
good. Yeah, I've got a neighbor that her kid was born kind of mute, and when he was born, she was giving him a lot of the stuff that the normal people take, per se,
The
and
nor
she,
the normal people.
yeah, the normal people, the normal society, that
Well, if you don't know,
uneducated
you don't
society.
know.
Right,
But
exactly.
once you know better, you do better.
Yep, exactly. That's what happened with her. Is her son, grew up in his younger days. I mean, he's still a young kid. He's like, I think he's about 10 or so now, but growing up in his younger days, he was having speech issues, and he was mute, and really didn't talk at all, and was having trouble talking. And she took him to the doctor, and the doctor checked him out. I was like, oh well, he just has developmental issues, and let's put him on this med or that med or this or whatever. And and at first she was like, okay, well, maybe this will help, whatever. Well, as things were progressing, it just, nothing was working. So she kind of took to it and started doing her own research and stuff, and educating herself and finding the truth
Mhm.
about it,
Mhm.
and found out that all the food dyes and stuff, which we were just talking about that a while ago,
Yeah.
but all the food dyes and stuff that he was eating in his foods were causing these developmental issues that he was having.
Yep.
So once she cut all of that stuff out, she cut out all the chemical stuff and was giving him all organic foods, and nothing, with any kind of chemicals, no food dyes, no nothing, just fresh raw food. And he started talking. He started developing his speech and stuff, and things were starting to come through. And she's like, "Wow, I fixed this all on my own."
Well,
You know.
well, that goes back to the mind control.
Uh huh.
Like they've been controlling through our food,
Yep.
what we watch, how we like what we're taught.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but if you were born before 1920 or after 1920, you have to unlearn everything you've ever been taught. Everything.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly true. And that's what I've heard over the last few years, is that everything that you've learned in your entire life, you might as well just forget it,
Forget
because
it
you're getting ready to
for
relearn history all over again,
all over
because
again.
the history has been hidden from us, for us for so
Yes,
long. And when they tell you to do something, do the opposite, because
absolutely.
just like another big topic that it has, people just recently I've been seeing a big discussion about, is we're in summertime, right? And people are like, "Hey, summer, sun's out, we're getting out, hitting the beach, whatever. Smear on that sunscreen." No, no,
No.
no, do not put the sunscreen on, because you're
Mm-mm.
blocking the sun. Your body needs the sun. Do not put sunglasses on. Your eyes need the sun. Your skin needs the sun. If you think you're burning, limit your exposure in the sun.
Yes,
So
absolutely. And most people are walking around with vitamin D deficiencies because they're
yes.
so afraid of the actual sunlight.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And my wife is one of those. She's got to take vitamin D supplements, and to get vitamin D in her body. Every time she goes for blood tests, they're like, "Oh, your vitamin D deficiency, and you need to take vitamin D
Well,
supplements."
for whatever reason, I don't have vitamin D problems, but mine is B12, and my body does not
Hmm.
absorb. If I take a B supplement, I don't absorb it. So I literally have to take injections for
Oh wow.
that.
Oh.
And it made a total difference in my life. It really did.
Hmm.
Like doing that's the only thing.
Wow.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Don't take me down it.
It's for another discussion, Jennifer.
That's
Another
for another
another night.
discussion. But
Another night. We'll talk
um
all about vitamins.
but yeah, like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know there's just so many different rabbit holes, and and I've got like a few things lined up on for the next couple of shows, and I'm just like wow, like what's next? What's next? What's next? We could just there's just so much. I mean, but I mean, we're eventually
But at
gonna
the
be
end of the
talking about it,
day,
but
it truly is all about what controls your thoughts,
mm-hmm,
controls what you do, right? I am a small business owner who refuses to take credit cards. I've
mm-hmm,
not lost any business doing that, but we're so headed to the cashless society. That's about control.
yeah, yeah,
That's about, I mean, that's a whole nother rabbit hole in itself, but like at the end of the day, it is, even though I'm using quotations, you can't see it. MK Ultra supposedly is not alive and well today. It
mm-hmm,
still is. It
yep,
still is
it is,
because
yeah, in
still
various different
control.
forms, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And you don't, and just like these people that were subjects, to the LSD experiments and stuff, you know, I think in a way that we are all still being experimented on, and we're unknowingly being experimented on, and that they're doing MK Ultra stuff without our knowledge and our consent in different ways, through
Oh,
foods we eat,
absolutely.
and then
Absolutely.
another one of the big things too um, is that the televisions. Okay, there's a patent, and I just literally shared this on my personal Facebook page, which I need to put it over on the Tinfoil and Tequila page as well. But one of the things is that there's a patent that televisions are a nervous control device. Like it's used to manipulate your nervous system, and there's a patent for that. And I'm like, hello, people, like, wake up, stop watching the stupid glowing rectangle on the wall, you know? Like, it's like, and people watch in the mainstream media, and that's all they go by, they just listen to um, the media, whatever, CNN's saying, or whatever ABC or NBC's saying, or,
Even
Fox.
Fox. I'll
Well,
even
yeah,
say even Fox.
Fox News too. But yeah, I mean, Fox has, become pretty conservative over the last year or so. But as far as Fox does still have their moments, but I'm not gonna totally take them out of the running
If
of
I
mainstream
need
media.
news, I go to Fox, but at the same time, I
Yeah,
still feel like they're actually trying to control the narrative
yeah,
just as much.
hmm
Um, and
and
and then this is a whole different rabbit hole, but there was people I used to follow, Alex Jones. Well, I still follow Dan Bongino, but I feel like they've kind of went cockeye in a way. But I don't know.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah, and then of course, when we get to talking about media, that leads us to another rabbit hole, Operation Mockingbird, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
absolutely.
it's like
And
it's like you can't open your mouth without without referring to some kind of rabbit hole in some manner.
there,
It's just
everything is a rabbit hole.
it
Everything
is.
is a conspiracy.
It literally is.
The media no longer reports news
Mm-hmm.
like truths anymore. And I think that goes back to, I think it was in 2012 I might be wrong about this, but whenever like I guess the blanket was taken off from them, for lack of a better word, where they no longer had to. It was they no longer had to report like facts or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Like everybody, we live in a world where everyone functions on emotions, including our media, including just everyday life.
Yep. Yeah,
That
exactly.
people see their feelings as facts, like
Yep.
trust me, I'd be in jail if I went on my feelings every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just, a lot of the stuff that's been going on. I mean, you could just sit here and do research for just like days and days and days on stuff. And one of the big things that, I mean, we'll eventually have a show about this as well, but about weather manipulation and HARP.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I literally was up for nearly 3 days straight doing research on HARP and weather manipulation. And I just kept getting into one thing after another, reading, white papers and different
And
research.
you
And
have weather patterns going back to the 1800s.
yeah, yeah, I
There's a
know.
problem.
And see, and
Again, it's mind control.
it is, and that is one of the biggest things in weather manipulation and HARP, and I mean that's going to be for another topic and another show, but and you're right because a lot of this, if you do your research and look into HARP and the weather manipulation and them spraying the stuff in the sky, some of the chemicals that they spray in there are barium and aluminum. Okay, so they're spraying heavy metals into the air to use for manipulating the weather. So,
Get you some zeolite, people.
yes, you like, yes, yeah,
Yeah. I
exactly.
mean, we keep it on hand.
Hmm.
We do the things. We do all the things.
Hmm.
Colloidal silver,
Yes, all natural.
ivermectin. Nobody wants to talk about ivermectin,
Hmm.
and not necessarily for parasites, but it actually blocks. And truly, I put nicotine patches on my children.
Hmm. Yeah,
I know that's a whole different rabbit hole, but it keeps
yeah,
them from the spike proteins of people they come in contact with different things. They're
yep,
all natural. I buy them. There's nothing else in them. Um, because I just when you know things, like you do things.
yeah, exactly. Once you get educated and you do your research and you know what's what, and you know what's up, you learn how to protect yourself and protect your
Hmm.
family and and stop listening to the government and stop listening to the stupid indoctrination crap that we've learned in school, and
School that we get from
mhm,
doctors,
yeah, yeah. And that leads me to a whole nother thing too, is that it's like our kids are homeschooled, and that way we can see the curriculum that they're doing, and they were doing
Mhm.
this one curriculum that was just woke as all get out, and it was started getting into CRT stuff, the critical race
Oh
theory stuff.
man,
And I said, "Oh hell no!" I said,
hell no.
"I said,
That's a
Mike,
whole different
uh-uh."
can of worms there, Larry.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Like I said, we just there's just so much to talk about. We cannot possibly do it in one night, and we've
Mhm.
only got, a few minutes left of the show here tonight, so one of the I want to go over a couple things here real quick is through some more documentation here as part of the deep dive segment here of the show. So these LSD experiments that were going on with these people, one of MK Ultra's most infamous areas involved the LSD testing, and that was really really big in the MK Ultra program. And I know we keep talking about it. We keep going back to it because it was huge. It was just so part of like a big part of the program. But some of these subjects reportedly received the drugs, like we said, without their knowledge or consent. And the CIA wanted to
Right.
determine on whether they could break resistance during interrogation. They wanted to see if they could influence people's behaviors. They wanted to see if it would also function as a truth serum, and they wanted to create confusion or compliance with these subjects
Mm-hmm.
by giving them these drugs. And the results were largely inconsistent and unreliable. So, and that documentation is part of what's on the CIA's website about the program.
So the
And
hypnosis part is what
mhm,
strikes me too with all of that, because I have actually, I'm using quotations, been hypnotized a couple of times.
mhm,
Never was I hypnotized,
mhm,
because I think some of us, and I think that that's why it was inconsistent and unreliable, because you've got people like me and you who are very strong-willed,
uh-huh, yeah,
who are not going to comply no matter what.
yep,
You cannot control me.
yep,
Like,
same here,
it's
yep.
it's 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 crazy to me, because all of that was used. All of that was used to control people. It's crazy. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, no, you're good. You're good. That's perfectly fine. I mean, that's what we're here about, to have discussions and talk about these things. So interrupt as you may. That's perfectly fine. But the central figure in the MK Ultra was the Sydney Gottlieb guy. Yes, this chemist.
mhm,
He directed numerous sub projects involving chemical, biological, and psychological research. And recently released testimony has renewed interest in the scope of these operations and how extensively behavioral control experiments were pursued. The big question is, did they actually achieve mind control? And according to available evidence, what appears supported is that there was drug induced confusion, memory disruption,
mhm, mhm.
psychological manipulation, suggestibility studies, and interrogation techniques. And what's not proven is complete remote mind control. Um, the uh, Manchurian candidate sleeper assassins and total personality programming. It says many
Mhm.
researchers concluded that the CIA spent millions trying to achieve these goals, but never successfully developed a reliable mind control method. And that was per the Senate Intelligence Committee when they were questioned. And the questions that remain, this is where the audience discussion starts getting really interesting here. So if we don't have any audience questions tonight yet, but we may. People may comment on our post on there, and we'll be glad to answer those questions as they come up. But questions that people are still asking is, were all records really destroyed? You know, are there really more than those 20,000 records? Are there more records hidden somewhere that they just haven't found yet?
I
Um,
think it's in the tunnel systems.
it's very possible. Very possible, because I mean, when the military's been going through these tunnels, they've been
They have
uncovering a
their
lot of
own
stuff.
systems.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
And how many
um,
test subjects were there? We don't
because here's
really know.
here's the thing, I think about myself, like my memory. So I
Mm-hmm.
make notes on everything. Everything is either written down or like a in my phone or whatever. And I feel like if they don't write it down, or if it's not like logged, they're not going to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're just not. So I don't think that I seriously think that they're out there
Yep. It's very
somewhere
possible.
floating around, kind
Yep.
of like the Book of Enoch.
Yes. Yes. That's a whole nother a whole nother discussion.
That's a whole nother, yeah.
Man, we just keep coming up with these things. We just gonna have show after show after show with all these rabbit holes. There's
Hmm.
just so much to talk about. But we like I said, we don't know how many people were involved in the testing, and like we talked about a while ago, is it still going on to this day? Are we still subjects in MK Ultra, in some form or a manner? And also, how many experiments are still classified? And
Hmm.
did successor programs continue under different names? How much of the public story remains incomplete? These are definitely questions that remain debated because there's so many records that were intentionally destroyed. They didn't want people to find out, and it was
Kind of like
because,
the Epstein files.
yeah, exactly. I've heard that there's like over like 6,000 pages or something of the Epstein files, and they've only released like 900 and something to the public. Like, I'm like, really?
Yes.
Like, come on, like, what's over there in those
And
other dark
honestly,
documents?
if people paid attention to the movies that they watch,
Mm-hmm.
s- dating back years ago, movies that you watch, they give you tidbits.
Mm-hmm. They
They give
do.
you
Yep.
nothing is made up. Like fiction isn't really fiction.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not. Like
You're right.
it's real. I mean,
Yeah. They tell you it's fiction because there we go again with mind control. They're manipulating
mhm,
your mind.
mhm,
So they're
mhm.
telling you something, hey, fiction is fake, right? No, wrong. Hello. It's just
Not
it's just
though.
a
It's
cover
so
up.
not. It's a cover up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's smoke screens and mirrors. And
Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And I think a lot of the stuff that we've seen that was fiction over the years, that it's real life stuff. And they're like, and I'm like, if somebody dreamed this up to put this into a movie, they've got this information from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't think of this stuff out of the blue, clear sky. They've seen
no,
this at
absolutely
some
not.
point. They've seen these
Every
aliens or UFOs or whatever the case is, these monsters or whatever. They just didn't dream this up out of their head. They've seen them somewhere, and they like putting all this stuff, all this truth into the movie to like talk about it, and they're like, oh, it's just fiction, it's just a movie. No.
but it's really not. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really I mean, the only movie I can think of that was probably like very far fetched and I mean it could happen, I guess, is the never ending story. But it- all the things that I've ever seen in my life, I'm not talking about Bugs Bunny, but it's real. Like it's really happened or it's gonna happen or
Come on,
it's
Jen.
it's already become
Bugs Bunny
what?
was real.
Well, you know what I mean. Like I'm just
and then
it's
and then
crazy.
that leads us to Looney Tunes. Remember the whole Looney Tunes Mandela effect that, like, we discussed it last week.
They listen, they done ruined all that. Like, no,
I know, right?
no.
It's like, no, like Looney Tunes was definitely Looney
Looney
Tunes, as in
Tunes.
Toons, because they were cartoons. They were funny, loony cartoons. And that's why it was Looney Tunes. And then it's like, they're like, no, it was always Looney Tunes, as in like musical tunes. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like,
No,
that's
you're
stupid.
crazy. Just like Fruit of the Loom always had a cornucopia.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah. I remember the
stop it.
fruit
Sinbad
and the
was
logo.
a movie, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We had the movie on VHS. He was like a genie.
Yep.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Like,
Yep.
you cannot play with my mind that way because
Mm-hmm.
I dream in real life.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I dream, it's not anything that's far fetched. It's real life stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, next week I'll tell
Yeah.
you. Next week's topic is about paranormal and about ghost and Bigfoot. So it'll be a really good
I'm gonna
discussion.
I'm gonna be unplugged next week, so I'll have to catch it when I
Oh
get back.
yeah, you
But
are. Yeah, you're going
but
on
I'll
vacation without us. That's not fair.
I am. I'm sorry. I've worked so hard for this vacation this year.
Yeah,
Um
you deserve it.
so but the paranormal,
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you stories like
Yeah.
on stories because my mom, my grandmother, me, we're very connected with the spirit world.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's
Very connected.
same here, and I was actually a paranormal investigator for 8.5 years and had a very
Oh
successful team down
wow.
in Florida,
That's awesome.
and back in the early 2000s or so, and I forget like what year I did it, but I lived down in Florida, and my team, I was actually networked with all the other paranormal organizations throughout the whole state. And there were a lot of them,
Oh,
And
yeah.
so we helped the other teams, when they got heavy caseload or whatever, they had a bunch of influx of people they needed to help. They would send some of their cases over to us, and then we would go and, wherever we needed in the state. I mean, we go I lived in Crystal River at the time, over on the Gulf Coast, a little bit north of Tampa. But we'd go all the way down south into the Everglades and stuff down there, and we went down to Clewiston down there, investigated a hotel and stuff down there. We went all the way up Tallahassee and Panama City and all that. So we went all over the place and went coast to coast and from state line all the way down to almost Key West. So it was.
Well, you need to go to places in Tennessee.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of good places. We actually went and we investigated the South Pittsburgh Hospital in Old South
Oh,
Pittsburgh,
yeah, in
and
South Pittsburgh. Yeah.
yeah, so we actually went in there when we
Okay.
first moved up here, and it was it was under the old management before they transitioned over to the management they have now there. And
Yeah.
it cost us like $500 to get in that place, and we got about 20 people, 15, 20 people to go, and kind of divided the cost amongst everybody, and so it wasn't too bad. But I'm like, golly, like $500 to go in a place that should be for free, but
Yeah,
but
because I'm sure it was not any. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy.
we didn't really get anything either. I mean, we didn't get any good evidence or anything, and
Well,
you know, so
we live in one of the most paranormal places to live on Earth
mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
because of the Indian.
yep, yep.
Um.
And I'll be talking about one of my sightings that I saw over here in Chatsworth, where I
Okay.
live at. When I first moved up, I saw an Indian walking down the road and bypassed him, and I thought I hit him, but I'd gotten over in the other lane, and I was the only one on it, and I was on the Trail of Tears
Hmm.
highway going down Old 411, which is part of the Trail of Tears, and saw him walking down the road. I'm like, oh, is there like an Indian reenactment or something today? I'm like, solid as can be. I mean, look like a real person walking on the side of the road. And so I got over in the other lane. I bypassed him and saw him all the way out my passenger window as I passed him. And
Wow.
and as I passed them, I looked in my rearview mirror and they were gone. I was like, oh my gosh, did I hit the dude? Like, oh my gosh. So I
Hmm.
slammed on brakes, stopped in the road, and put my flashers on and got out and looked in the ditch and everywhere trying to see if I accidentally hit him. But I'm like, I couldn't have hit him. I was like 10 foot away, like in the other lane, to
Yeah.
avoid from hitting him. And I looked everywhere and I'm like, oh my gosh, was that just a ghost that I saw of an Indian? Like walking down the Trail of Tears, like that's crazy. And I was just like, yeah, like it was an
It
apparition.
probably was. We
Yeah.
actually live on Chief White Path land,
Oh wow,
so
that's
it's
awesome. Wow, I bet you have a lot of stuff out there, huh?
there's yeah, there's things. Again, my husband thinks I'm absolutely insane, but
Man, I wish I could have
when
you
you're
on
s-
next
when
week to talk about this.
when you're
My
sensitive to
goodness.
that kind of stuff, you feel it, you know it, like the spirit leads you in that.
Yeah.
If I feel like that, it's all spirit driven.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
and it's more about where I feel like that is them helping us in a certain way away from the mind control, the because if you think about what they went through and everything, we're not far from that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. Yep. You're exactly right.
Mm.
Well, I guess we need to
Okay.
bring this show to a wrap, and we could sit here and talk about rabbit holes all night and the paranormal. And I mean, there's a lot of great discussions that we can have, and we will have those discussions on some other segments. So we got to save them for other segments, Jennifer, not all tonight. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's
Yeah,
hard. It's
I
hard, but
know it is.
I definitely think that we're still being mind controlled today.
Yep,
Or at least they're trying.
absolutely.
I,
Yep.
it's not hard. If you go to Walmart, you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yep. That's a that's one of the number one mind control places, and I'll tell you from a person that worked at Walmart. All right, I worked at Walmart in my earlier days. I was about 18, 19 years
Mhm.
old, And one thing that I learned at Walmart, and they actually told you this when you were going through training, and I'm like, why does Walmart always like do resets all the time? They're always like moving things around in the store and shifting things from aisle to aisle and all that. So it's a big marketing thing. So if the thing is that Sam Walton, when he created Walmart, he wanted to keep people in the store for as long as they can, because the longer that you're in the store, the more apt you are to buy things that you actually don't need. And so when they actually move things around in the store, all right, so let's just say that bread has been on aisle 1 for the past 3 months. Okay. So you go into Walmart, you're like, okay, great. Bread's on aisle 1. I'm going to go right in, grab my bread. Well, you go into the store and now they've moved the bread to aisle 8. Okay. So now you're like, oh my gosh, where's the bread at? It's not on aisle 1 anymore. So now you're looking for the bread, right? And you're like, okay, wait a minute. Here's some macaroni and cheese. Yep, I need some macaroni and cheese. So let me go ahead and grab that. Well, you only went in there for bread, right? So now you're grabbing macaroni and cheese. And so then you're walking down the aisles, like, oh, yeah, I want to do tacos tonight, or maybe tomorrow night too. Let me go in and get some taco makings. Okay, well, now you've got macaroni and cheese and taco makings that you didn't even intend to buy. You just went in there for bread, right? So now you're buying all this extra stuff, and you're like, okay, oh, now I need some cookies. I need something sweet. So now let me go ahead and I'm now down the cookie aisle, and you're going down all these other aisles before you ever get to your bread now, right? So now you got a
Right.
whole armful of groceries now because you just went in to go grab a loaf of
Well,
bread, you know.
there's nowhere else you can go get auto care and underwear under the same roof. I mean, it's insane. Like
Yeah, I know.
I avoid Walmart like the plague. I send my husband to Walmart.
Uh-huh. Hey,
I'm
I
like,
know
I don't do
my wife's the same way, and when I go in, I try to stick to a plan. I'm like, I'm going in, I'm grabbing that one thing, I'm like in and out. My wife's like, go down this aisle, go down that aisle, make a circle over here and go around this way. And I'm like, no, let's not do all that. Like, let's cut it right to the chase. Let's go right,
It's
grab one
like
item.
everything's a flashing light.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I can't do
Yep.
it. I don't do it. I refuse.
Yep. And Walmart's for
So,
another discussion too. That's crazy.
but that's the biggest mind control we have.
It
Like
is.
if you think
It
about
really
it, I
is.
mean, and even through like COVID and
Mm-hmm.
everything was shut down, what was still open?
Yep. And then I've got some questions I want to
Insane.
ask our viewers.
Okay.
So I've got 5 questions I want to put out there, and if whoever's listening, I want you guys to respond in the comments from wherever you're watching at, whether it's on Rumble, it's on Facebook, or YouTube, wherever you find our show at. Um, I want you to answer these 5 questions. All right. Question number 1: was MKUltra the most shocking government program ever exposed? All right. So that's question 1. Question 2 is: do you think that all of the files have been released? All right. Question 3 is: can human behavior actually be programmed? Question 4 is: were Cold War fears enough to justify these experiments? And question 5 is: what conspiracy theory do you think later turned out to be true? Hence, all of them.
All of them. I was just thinking that when you said that. What conspiracy theories? Yeah,
All
all
of
of
them.
them.
And that's the
Hmm.
thing. It's the running tally, and it's like, every time I share a conspiracy theory, I'm like, I post this made up score on there, and I'm like, conspiracy theorist 1001, them 0.
So real quick,
you know.
I believe, based on rabbit holes and research I've done, that cancer became a thing because of, I won't say MK Ultra, but mind control
Hmm.
with the cancer institutions and all of this, the research, all of that. Like they created it. They created the problem
Hmm. And trying to create the solution that they still don't
that
have, but
100 years later they still don't have the solution.
we have the solution.
We do.
We do.
I mean, it's insane.
And that is
It's insane.
ivermectin and fenbendazole.
Yep.
Yep.
Which we take regularly. If you're not taking that, then I'm sorry for you
Yep.
because
That
you
is a
come in
must.
contact with things that, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 80/20. I'm 80% crunchy, 20% everything, whatever, I don't allow
Uh-huh.
red dyes, like
Yep.
things like that, but my kids eat Oreos. That's a whole different story.
That's
But
a whole rabbit hole in itself right there.
it is. It is. But they like them, so
Uh-huh. Same here. My kids love them too, but that's I'm like, you need to get away from that demonic food. But yeah.
I know they do, but like
I
they
know.
won't eat any other cookie.
Uh-huh. I try to buy them store brand and they're like, nope, nope, it's gotta be
No, it
Oreo.
has to be Oreo. Like, so it can't even be Aldi brand. Like, it has to
Uh-huh.
be
Yeah.
Oreo
Name brand. Yep.
and name brand. And they won't even eat like when I make homemade cookies, they don't want homemade cookies.
Yep.
It's crazy. They're like, no, that's homemade. We don't like homemade. Y'all are crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Well, Jennifer, it's time for the final take. So, in
okay.
this, the most important lesson from MK Ultra isn't whether mind control succeeded; it's that the program existed at all. All right. So the program was there. There's proof that the program was there. The documents are there. The test subjects, it happened. LSD was used. It was there. It was real. Okay. And for years, people who suspected something like this were dismissed as conspiracy theorists, right? Just like we are today
Hmm.
when we try to spread the truth about something. We're called conspiracy theorists because people aren't educated and they don't believe that it's true because they have been taught something else through indoctrination. So therefore, we are conspiracy theorists when we try to spread the truth, and because people refuse to educate themselves and think for themselves, and they rather have someone else think for them and feed them information. So that's
Yep.
where we are today. But the then congressional hearings declassified the records, and CIA documents showed that at least some of these suspicions were grounded in reality. MKUltra reminds us that skepticism cuts both ways. We shouldn't believe everything, but we shouldn't automatically dismiss everything either. And it's
Hmm.
called do your own research, look into stuff, educate yourself, and think for yourself. Don't let others think for you or try to indoctrinate you and feed you a bunch of garbage, hence the media and through their propaganda. And that's for another discussion.
Amen.
Operation Mockingbird. But yeah, so we want to go ahead and give some shout outs to all of our people out there that are listening to our show tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in to listen wherever you're listening from, whether in the U.S. or you're abroad, overseas somewhere. I want to thank you all so much for listening to us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Facebook, Twitch. We try to get out there to all the platforms as they allow us to. If you're not listening live on one of those platforms, the show will be uploaded to the platforms. So the show will be published in the next 24 hours. So you'll be able to catch it and listen to our show there. So, Jennifer, do you have any final words to say this evening?
I just want to thank you, Larry, for inviting me on. Like, I've had a good time. Like, I've learned a lot of information from you. Um, and that I'm all about educating others. When you know, and you want to tell people. So I appreciate the invite.
No problem. No problem. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I had a great time having you on the show and learned a lot from you as well. And, I didn't know about the Olson guy. I forgot his first name already, but I forgot
Frank,
that. Yeah,
Frank
Frank Olson.
Olson.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's
I
just
didn't.
he's like a huge part of that conspiracy thing.
Yeah, yeah. He
Um,
was. He was a really
but
big part of it.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so if also want to give a little message real quick. We are looking for supporters of the show. So if you would like to be a sponsor of our show, we're looking for sponsors. If you'd like to donate, contribute any monetary donations to the show, we're always taking those because we do have costs for the show, our software, our hosting, things like that go into providing the show for everybody. So that's stuff that we pay for, out of our own pockets. And, we could help, that can help with through our sponsorships and donors for the show. Also, we are looking for contributors. So if you'd like to be a contributor for the show, you can contribute stories to us as well. If there's a topic that you'd like to hear about, there's a story you want to share, something, audio file, video file, whatever it may be, send that to us. You can email that to us by sending us an email to studio@tinfoilandtequila.com. And you can also call us or text us as well. So we do have a phone line available. So our phone number is 706-222-3889. That number again is 706-222-3889. And you can call and text there. If you do call, you'll get voicemail. Just leave us a message, and I will try to return phone calls as I'm available. Also, feel free to text us. We'll text you back, let you know that we got your text, and respond back to you as well. We are definitely responsive there, and also through email. And again, that email address was studio@tinfoilandtequila.com. Our website will be coming soon to tinfoilandtequila.com, so keep checking back there. I'll keep updating it as I have time available. And also want to give a shout out to our sponsors for tonight's show. Sponsors are True Patriot Technologies. You can find them online at truepatriottech.us. Also Learn for Less, which is L4LLMS.com, and Wilder and Smith. You can find them at wilderandsmith.com. So thank you so much for listening tonight. And you can also find us on Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, and Facebook. I think I covered them all. We're trying to be everywhere that we can. So, but
And X.
yes, oh yes, and X. Thank you for sharing that one. Yeah, totally forgot about X. So yeah, that's one that kind of gets missed a lot. But next time on Tinfoil and Tequila, we're going to be diving into another mystery that refuses to die. And is it something strange? Well, I don't know. It's up for you to decide, because we'll be discussing the paranormal, ghost, and Bigfoot next time. So until next time, keep your tinfoil shiny, keep your tequila cold, and remember, question everything. Thank you all so much for listening, and thank you, Jen, for attending tonight and being a part of this show. I greatly appreciate you, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening.